Crystal Palace have been denied re-entry into the Europa League. Their appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, has been denied. Alright, look, I'm not gonna pretend like I know too much of the ins and the outs of this whole kerfuffle. Yeah, but all I know is Crystal Palace fairly and squarely, qualified for the Europa League last season by winning the FA Cup. Yeah, deservedly so. Big up to Palace. Yeah. Now, from what I understand, John Textor, too much deciding factor in Lyon and in Crystal Palace. This is the understanding that I have. The multi-club model, this is where it backfires. And from what I understand, UEFA doesn't allow a club, or I guess clubs, that are owned or have majority share deciding kind of stake in both clubs to compete in the same tournament. This is my understanding. Very basic understanding. And this is where Crystal Palace have seemingly become a bit unlucky. I say unlucky, I feel like they was done dirty. So, I mean, it is a bit unlucky. Now, before, I go into what was actually said, there's also the other element of this. There's the element of Nottingham Forest. Now, you don't know me, I like a bit of a conspiracy. I believe that Nottingham Forest owner Marinakis, was doing a bit of a spicy thing, because as we know, Lyon were going to miss out on I believe Lyon was going to miss out on the Europa League because they was going to get relegated. Something like that. I can't remember the ins and outs, but something like that. Now, Marinakis bought a lot of players from Botafogo, who coincidentally shares the owner with Lyon. Coincidentally. So I'm just saying, I feel like funds were transferred to ensure that Lyon could stay in the Ligue 1, which would then allow them to stay in the Europa, which would then allow Nottingham Forest to go into the Europa. Now, I can't lie. If I was a Nottingham Forest fan, I would be wanting this to happen. See, this is the thing. Like, if you're a Palace fan, you feel very hard done by. You feel kind of let down by the system. You feel like you're being bullied by the bigger dogs in the game. This is how you feel. If you're not a Forest fan, you feel rejuvenated. You feel like, damn, we was going to be in the Conference League because we completely fell off a cliff towards the latter part of the season. But now we're going to go into the Europa League, which, will generate us more funds, we'll play more competitive football, so on and so forth. So now, this is kind of how it goes, and I'll bring it up on the screen. So the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, denies Crystal Palace appeal. Lausanne, 11th August 2025. The Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, has dismissed an appeal by Crystal Palace FC against UEFA, Nottingham Forest FC and Olympique Lyonnais concerning a decision by UEFA to remove Crystal Palace from the UEFA Europa League 25-26 due to a breach of UEFA multi-club ownership regulations. As a result, Crystal Palace will be admitted to compete in the UEFA Conference League 25-26. The appeal sought to annul the decision by the UEFA Club Financial Control Body on the 11th of July, which found Crystal Palace and Olympique Lyonnais non-compliant with multi-club ownership regulations. Alongside the annulment of the decision, CPFC requested readmission to the UEFA Europa League with Nottingham Forest or OL's admission rejected. So now, obviously, I'll leave it up. You can carry on reading. and it goes into more things. I'll touch on one more paragraph before I bring it down. What I really need someone to explain to me, and in the comments, please explain, because I genuinely don't understand. Why is it Crystal Palace that's being sacrificed ahead of Olympique Lyonnais? This is what I don't understand, personally, because Olympique Lyonnais would be breaching the same thing, right? Or have I gone mad? Because John Textor, he's involved in Lyon as well, right? So why is it Crystal Palace that suffers? This is what I don't understand. I understand how Nottingham Forest benefit from this. I can understand to a degree why Nottingham Forest, their admission wouldn't be rejected, because their admission kind of hinges on Crystal Palace not making it in. But, well, I guess on the flip side, if Palace did make it in and Lyon was punished, then I'm guessing there's someone else in the French league that would go in instead. But why have UEFA chosen Crystal Palace over Olympique Lyonnais? Yeah, someone let me know, because I actually don't know. After considering the evidence, I skipped something. After considering the evidence, the panel found that John Textor, founder of Eagle Football Holdings, had shares in CPFC and OL. Cool. And was a board member with a decisive influence over both clubs. Cool. At the time of UEFA's assessment date. The panel also dismissed the argument by Crystal Palace that they received unfair treatment in comparison to Nottingham Forest and Olympique Lyonnais. The panel considered that the UEFA regulations are clear and do not provide flexibility to clubs that are non-compliant on the assessment date, as Crystal Palace claimed. But wouldn't Olympique Lyonnais be non-compliant? This is what I don't understand. Like, are they not non-compliant as well? I think that Crystal Palace have been unfairly treated. Either it's they've been unfairly treated, or I just don't understand it enough. But I just can't wrap my head around why Crystal Palace would be punished ahead of Olympique Lyonnais. Maybe I've missed something. So if I'm going mad, like I said, let me know in the comments below. Now, obviously it's a shame that this news comes out the day after Crystal Palace lifted, their second trophy in like the space of 4 months? Something like that, 3-4 months, which was great for them. But I guess it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming that Crystal Palace fans will be very distraught by this news just broke, but I can also see another angle. They're still going to be competing in Europe. They they definitely have a higher chance of winning the Conference League than the Europa League. Even though, if they was in the Europa League, I probably would have had them down as one of the favourites for the competition. So that's neither here nor there. I think they will do better in the Conference League than what Nottingham Forest will do in the Europa League. So I guess maybe when Nottingham Forest goes out, Crystal Palace, you man can start doing do-do-do on Nottingham Forest fans. I actually think they'll go further in the Conference League than what Olympique Lyonnais will go in the Europa League. So again, do-do-do. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they'll probably generate less money now. So this may affect their window, because they was probably hedging their bets on getting a sum from the Europa League. But now that sum will be less because they're in the Conference League. So there's also that to consider. And maybe that's why they haven't been so active in the window, because they didn't want to spend money. And then it turns out that, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Like, look, just a few of my brief thoughts. I do feel like Palace were hard done by here. But yeah, people, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think this means for Crystal Palace season going forward? Do you feel there's a bit of shenanigans going on in UEFA? Favouring the teams that are in the EU. Because we left the EU. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me know, and catch you next time.